Now today we have the seat cowl from the 650 Ninja that's ready for the paint trim. I wanted to show how I would backmask it, how I'd prep the part, even though there's some problem with the carbon fiber print showing through. There's a lot of good information on this video for basic paint work. And of course you can use this if you're repainting a motorcycle part, repainting a guitar, a car part. The information of painting are the building blocks of a lot of different things you can do, as well as painting your motorcycle or repairing it if you've had some damage to it. Knowing how to paint is I think a very good skill to have in your toolbox, and you can watch it in 4K. Now on this video I'm going to try to show the next step of the carbon fiber seat cowl that we're making. This is a prototype part. It's not out on the channel because we're going to make a real one for the MT-09, and I'll do that in a complete detailed step by step. But this one, the video previous to this, I showed how I laid out the different trim angles and shapes I wanted. And today I'm going to backmask it off, try to take care of some of the imprint, the carbon fiber imprint issues, and I'll go over that in detail. Maybe interesting to new painters. And try to get some of the painting done today. It's a good day to paint. It's nice and sunny and not much wind blowing. So for people who may be new to the channel, what I wanted to do is just show what I'm trying to do. This bike I did a total restoration on, but I never finished this part. And what happened after the restoration, years went by before I finished this part, and I don't have a video on that. But what has happened over time is I can see, and I'm going to try to show it, you can see the imprint of the carbon coming through. Well, I'm going to try to take care of that. That's a common problem because what I did, I used twill instead of weave, and it was scraps. What I was trying to do is just make a prototype part, basically to see if I liked it. And what happened is, over the time since then, I've ridden a bike many times, and we're ready to put the gold trim on today. Now the real purpose that is, I wanted to do a similar part for the MT-09. I don't like the look of the strap on a bike. None of my bikes have straps except this one. Actually, I just looked over. The RD has a strap on it. I'm going to take that off. I don't ride passengers, so I don't need that extra seat. And I can, in this case, I have the correct material now in-house to make this part. All I want to do is finalize the one for the 650. And we should be able to do that in the next couple days, and then we can move on to, and I'm going to show that on the video step by step. But what I'm doing is using this bike and that part, which is a prototype, and I may not even use it in the end. I'll just make a new one with the good material. I just wanted to use it as an experiment, and I wanted to see if I would like it, and both of those worked out good. So let me get down to the shop. I'll take the seat off, get down to the shop, and get started. So on the prototype, there's only two little screws hold that back piece on, and what's nice about this, it's relatively easy to get on and off. I always make these parts as if I change my mind, I want to put the bike right back to the way it was without having to do too many modifications. In this case, that part can come on and off in a matter of minutes. And what's nice about the way this is just two soft aluminum tabs hold that on, and you've got the part off. And we can work on it down in the shop where it's a lot warmer, by the way. So I think under the shop light conditions, you can see the weave coming through. And that's a common thing. We're going to try to avoid that. I'm going to do the real part, the real one. That will be a lot less pronounced. But I want to use this, if for no other reason, I want to finish this part up just to have a spare. Now, anybody who has ever watched any of my tutorial videos about painting, and there are a lot of them out there, knows the first thing, since we've ridden this bike, we've waxed it, we've done a lot of, we have several rides on it, and the first thing is to get all of that residual wax and grease off any way we can. We'll start with Simple Green. I'll go over to the sink, clean it up as best you can. Simple Green is a good choice. Any kind of degreasing agent, because what we want, I don't want to, in the ultimate thing, have a fisheye issue. I want to get rid of any residual wax I can here. We're going to have to sand this part. And if I don't do this, what I do is the sandpaper drives the silicone to wax the fingerprints down into the little grooves of the paint, and you wind up having a real problem when you go to put the final coats of clear on. So anyway, we want to clean this up as much as possible, and if I have to do this 3, 4, 5 times, it doesn't matter. From this point on, we want the part to be clean and as fingerprint grease silicone free as we possibly can make it, no matter what. And by the way, all this information would work if you were just taking, let's make an example of if you had a big scratch in a part, you just wanted to put more clear on it or repaint it, whatever. This is good basic 101 information, I think, on this video. So what I need is a little bit of warm water, a couple of drops of Dawn, any kind of dish detergent. And we're going to use the Dawn in the water and some 1000 grit Mirka on a soft sanding block. We want to try to get the high points of where this weave is showing. Just get the mountaintops off without going down into the black if possible. Now the idea here is to get all the high spots off from the weave, but not go through into the black. If we do go into the black, I just have to touch it up, but this should be relatively straightforward. I'm using any pattern possible and a very soft block here. And what'll happen is, and I don't want to overdo it, but when I did this, I only put just enough clear on that I could ride the bike. And intending that I wanted to put the trim on at some future time, or if I didn't like the way this part either felt or looked, deep fix it and make another one. So let me show you this up close. So this is critical information. This is what we started with. You almost can't see the weave. I see it, of course. And this is what we want to achieve, is to get it flat like this. And it's not going to take all day, but it's going to be a very patient job until I have as much of the weave gone as possible. And then I'm going to lay out the arrows that I laid out on a previous video. And you can back this, go to my channel and just back it up one video and you'll see what that is all about. And then get it back masked off, and it looks like we're nice and sunny out there now. Looks like we maybe even get it painted today too. So the rest of the thing is I'll finish the sand out. Now the next step on this is this is Sikkens M600 that I've got for so many years already that you can't buy it in New Jersey anymore. If you can buy it by you, buy it up before the government passes regulations on it. It's the best degreasing agent. But in lieu of that, if you don't have it, any degreasing thing you can buy, degreasing agent, is okay. But getting it clean. Now what I also do, because I have to use my bare hands to lay out the tape, from this point on, I've tried to do this with surgical gloves and stuff. I just like doing it better. I'm old school. That gets some of the oil off your hands, so there's less chance you're going to put some fingerprints or something in the final paint. Now again, on that previous video, we tried all kind of placements and reversing it and doing all these things, and you could check that video out, whatever you think is right for you. But I came up with, after a lot of soul searching and conversing with Karen about it, this is going to be the final shape. Now I have the 2 little holes drilled in it, cut in it, because I'm going to need to reverse it for the mirror image on the other side. But the first thing I need to do is go back, and I know right about there is where I want it. I need to get this line parallel to the bottom of the part, and I can do that with a piece of blue tape very easily. Now a super good tip before you put this on this surface, I just take it on a clean flannel shirt. I always make sure I'm wearing a clean shirt, and rub it down. I don't want to press it down hard. I don't want to get any more adhesion than I need, and when I take it off, I'll use some heat. Now I got some fine line tape, and I'm going to get this bottom edge. This is the critical thing, is to get the bottom edge parallel to the bottom of that part, and that's something you will see if we get it wrong. And once that's on there, now that can get just pressed down lightly. Now I can figure out exactly where I want to put this, what angle I'm going to have it on. Do I want it that way? Do I want it up this way? Do I want it in the middle? However I want it, I'll be able to lay that on, and with just the 2 little pieces of tape, put the tape on the other side, put the same thing on the other side, and have what amounts to be a mirror image. Very handy to do it that way. Now I got the same thickness up here, plus the 1/8 inch tape. So that'll put this in if I mirror image this and flip it over, it's going to be the exact Exactly the same on the other side. And then I can pull off all the tape and backmask it. So once I have the outline that I want to get the corners of the tape to lay down. Press that down. I'd like to have nice, neat corners. Takes a little to get the fingernail right down in there. Now I'm going to press this down with what I hope is my clean, grease-free fingers, which realistically, we'll go over this again with some M600, of course. But now that pretty much put us in the spot that I liked when I looked at this on the motorcycle with several different choices. And Karen agreed after she looked at it with me. She's usually got a good eye. She's a trained artist. Okay, so the part's been re-cleaned with M600. And I always want to give my late friend, who was a custom car painter in California, Walt Prey. He shared this tinfoil technology with us for backmasking. And we use it every time we paint something. And we paint a lot of stuff in his shop. So the whole trick here is, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I thought I'd show it anyway, since we're trying to share useful information. You can always do this, rub it up on your shirt once, put it down, leave about 1/4 to 1/8 inch exposed, and you've made yourself a very easy way of backmasking. Now, what I do here, again, using something to prop it up, and you can just go right down. Boy, is that a lot easier than using whatever we used to use in the old days, magazines and stuff. Now we're going to backmask the whole part, and we'll be ready to mix up our gold paint. I know we have some left over, but I got to make sure it's going to be exactly the same match, the same paint that's on that bike. I don't want it to be in any way any different. It's got to be a perfect match. Okay, we've got all the tape pressed down. We're all backmasked. Just ready to mix up the gold paint and make sure we have a good match. Now this is the paint that I mixed, and you can see all the pigment winds up at the bottom. So it requires a lot of mixing and sifting and straining before I load up the gun. Now things that'll help right now, that'll be real nice, is to use a smaller gun, low pressure. Since we're not going to put any tape over this, we don't need to have an ironclad bond, but we don't want to get, here's the part and here's the tape. I don't want to spray into the tape. I want to spray straight down if possible. And you can see how long this is going to take. It's going to take a minute or two of shaking, and then I want to strain it before I put it in the gun. So I always try to include useful tips. Always, every time you paint, drain the compressor. Leave the valve open when you're not using it. Rock the compressor. It gets the last little bit of moisture out, or use a moisture separator. Karen asked me, she had some pots that she's doing a craft project, if I would paint them gold, and I said, well, good. That'll give me a little look at what this gold is going to look like, and I can run out and see it's a perfect match. Put the motorcycle and the part in the sun, and it is a perfect match for one reason. I mix my own paint with pigment I bought from Amazon. I have that video out on our channel, mixing gold paint, and we've mixed several different kinds of silver for the wheels. Now, there's always a thing with metallics, little tips that help. Stir it, shake it. Shake it when you think it's done, shake it some more. And put on several thin coats. Don't put on one big wet coat. Several coats, because what it lets, each coat dries just enough that the flakes sit up, they don't lay down flat. So I'm trying to show that on here, but it's not really, this is not really a good part to show it on. Now, another good tip, start the spraying out in midair, see, in midair, and then go to the part. Paint the part and stop in midair. See how that works? And I've passed that on to several people that are painting projects right now and corresponding with me. And they've all said, wow, that's a great trick. Well, it is a good trick. That's the truth. And this gold, by the way, Amazon pigment, wow, does that look great in the sun? It looks even better on the motorcycle. And the next time we get to work on this, we'll put on the clear. That'll have to dry a few days, and then there'll be actually 2 more videos in this series. And then we'll show the buffing, and then we'll go put it on the bike and see if we like it, and see if Karen likes it. Well, I went over to the bike, and as it's dried up now, I think we have a pretty good match. Perfect, in fact. And it was so important to me to get all of the trim, the lettering, and thank you John Pathier and Thomas Luciano for all the help with the lettering and badging. And this kind of is the final touch. Now, I don't know if in the end of this project we're going to actually keep this part or just make another one, but I know we're going to make one for the MT-09. So this is kind of like a little, like a practice. I don't know what would be the right word. And so far, so good. I think we got this made. Now, I'm old school enough, and I never rush paintwork. If I were to go in an hour from now and pull off the tape, yeah, I could do that, put some clear on, yeah, no. But you know what? It'll be a lot better if I wait tomorrow morning, come back out to the garage, carefully, using a heat gun hairdryer, take the tape off, and then clean the part thoroughly again and get the clear on. And we'll save that for tomorrow. And the people that usually respond to the videos don't like the videos getting too long either, so. But maybe what I can do at the end of this project is combine all 3 or 4 of the videos into one video. But I don't know. I only get, some people are very rare that they complain about it. And most people like that I don't leave out any steps. The people that really follow the channel are kind of hardcore. So I hope this information helps. And whatever project you're working on, I know Scott is already making one of these. So no matter what you're painting, I hope that the information on this video is of some value, or you're mixing your own paint. We have a lot of information that's useful to new painters out on the channel. Just search my name in quotation marks with whatever topic, and especially a lot of good videos on painting motorcycle wheels. Anyway, I hope that, again, that information serves you well, no matter what involvement you have in motorcycling, model aviation, painting a guitar, painting a sailboat, whatever. And I try to give the best information I can and not leave out any steps. And thanks so much for watching.